Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another video on my Design and Manage series where we are building the city of Leonor, where it is currently spring. Ah yes, spring of 2026. What a memorable season. But anyway, on the last video we have addressed a very serious unemployment issue, where we had an unemployment rate of about 50%, and after our most recent work it's now sitting at around 5%. So still a lot of work to do, but much better than what we had before. And we've done so by extending the industrial sector towards this location here, and also by adding some custom farms and also forestry industry. And of course we've also added this cute little harbor as well. But today we have another issue on our hands, and you've already seen it, which is these annoying trash can icons all over the place. So our city has a very serious trash and garbage management issue at the moment, which is not only decreasing the land value of the city and making our citizens unhappy, but it is also making the people sick. So for example, this health clinic over here, which is fairly big with 3 extension wings, is already over capacity, and our small medical clinic here is also over capacity as well. And the overall healthcare of the city is quite low despite having 2 different medical clinics. So we have definitely a serious issue on our hands which we need to address. When it comes to trash management, we have 2 different options. We can either put a trash management facility over here in this area, and this is what I had initially thought, because I think this is a prime location when it comes to accessibility, because a large-scale recycling center or incinerator would provide access not only to Sapling Town here, but also to the downtown that we'll be building further on. When it comes to air pollution, this area doesn't have a very strong wind current. It would basically be blowing the pollution onto this area, which I'm not planning on building any residential here, or to this area as well. So that's option number 1. Then we also have the second option, which is what I think I'm gonna go for, which is by building a recycling center on this area here. This is far away from the city center, so it's not gonna annoy anybody. And when it comes to air pollution, the wind current is quite strong here, but it's blowing the wind towards this valley and towards this river, which again, I'm not gonna build anything here. Overall, I think this is the most suitable location, because I think this area over here, first and foremost, it has the potential for other things, such as some prime residentials near the river, or if we want to go to a more industrial option, this area would also be suitable for that, because it's very close to the highway, the interstate, and also the main railroad, allowing for quick export and import of goods, and it's also very close to the ocean as well. Now, in the future, I will want to have several garbage management facilities spread throughout the city in strategic locations, so that the garbage trucks don't take too long to travel to one place to the other to gather the trash and make the process much more quicker and efficient. So in the future, we could potentially build another garbage management facility here, but perhaps not on this island, perhaps more towards this side. That could be much more suitable. But for the time being, we are going to go with option number 2, and we are going to move on to the development of a recycling center here. So I think we can just move forward and unlock it. I chose the recycling center over the incinerator for the time being because it's a much cleaner option, and I think it's going to look better alongside the forestry industry and also the farms. In the long term, as we expand the city towards the edges of the map, or if I end up deciding to construct a very dirty and polluting industrial site, perhaps we can complement it with the incinerator later on, if it makes sense. But for the time being, we're gonna go with the recycling center. Actually, you know what? Instead of building it so far away from the city, I think I'm gonna go with a more central location, perhaps place it here, so that trucks have a less travel time to Sapling Town here. Yes, there's gonna be some air pollution spreading towards this region, but I'm planning on only building forestry industry and farms here, and also some other service buildings, so that's not going to be a problem. And now I think I need to eyeball a not perfect, but a suitable location for it. And I think somewhere around here is acceptable. So let's go ahead and just place it. There we go. And with that, we achieve a next milestone. And yeah, let's just give it a quick connection to the highway. Let me just pause the simulation. And I think I want to adjust the terrain a little bit. Now let's enclose it with some alleys. And I'm doing this because I will have to add some extensions to this thing, and I think I'm going to place them on the road. And now let's just connect these to our highway, or not highway, but national road. So I'm not going to complicate things for the time being, and I'm going to just use a simple connection. I want to see how this building behaves and how efficient it is in managing traffic before we commit to a more permanent infrastructure. So yeah, let's just resume the simulation and see what happens. And one of the greatest things that happened with the newest update is that whenever you place one of these service buildings, now you can see the service vehicles parked in the facilities whenever they're not being used, and you can see them go into action and actually leave the building whenever they are required, which is what we're seeing right now, which is perfect. And I actually think I'm gonna add a garage right away, because I don't think 15 trucks are enough to fix the issue that we have right now. And with that, we have 10 additional trucks, and we should now see them get out of the facilities. It also seems that we have to connect it with power and water, because those things do not get transmitted with the highway. So let's see if I can make a power line here. This is very temporary, and connect it to the wind turbines just to give it some power. And now do the same with water. That we'll have to do until we rework this entire area. It also seems that we have a situation with the water availability, so let's go and move towards our water pumping station and give it a small upgrade just before we add another one of these buildings. Okay, and now we have all 25 trucks collecting garbage. Let's speed up the simulation and wait a little bit and see how the trash situation evolves. Okay, so the simulation has been running at full speed, and while we have some minor improvements on our trash management situation, we have reached a situation where most of our trucks are now parked and trash isn't being collected as fast as it was. And the reason for that is that our facility, our recycling center, is now at full capacity. So basically the way the recycling center works is garbage trucks are gonna collect trash all around the city, and then they're gonna place it in the garbage reserves of the recycling center, thus filling up this bar, the stored garbage bar. Then as garbage is being processed, this bar is gonna slowly decrease, but if it gets to a point where the collection of garbage is faster than the processing rate, this bar is gonna fill up faster than it empties. And when it gets to almost full capacity, and I notice it's about 80% when it gets to the orange color, trucks will go around collecting garbage because they have no more place in the facility to place this garbage. There's actually a couple of ways we can address this. One of those ways is by adding more capacity or more storage for garbage, and the other one is by increasing the processing speed and make it so that the bar decreases faster. Or we can do both, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm gonna prepare the layout for these extensions, and for that I think I need to adjust the terrain a little bit more, because these are some quite large assets. Okay, so there we go, and I think I'm gonna use one of these new one-way alleys for these access roads, even though that's not really relevant because I don't expect a lot of traffic to flow through here. So let me just pause the simulation. Now we can place the storage extensions here. And there we go, the storage capacity has increased. Let me prepare the layout for a couple more. And I think for the time being, I'm gonna settle for 2 of these, even though I have room for a third one. This one is facing the wrong way. Okay, so this is going to be enough to raise our storage. I'm going to resume the simulation. And now we should start seeing, yeah, there we go. Look at all the trucks going around and going back to pick up the trash because they now have a lot more room. But that's not going to be enough. I'm going to add these hazardous waste collection points as well. And I can either place this here or on this side. I think I'm going to place them on this side. So let's place again 2 of them as well. And that's going to increase our processing speed. That should be enough for the time being. Let's see how the situation evolves. Okay, so after that set of upgrades, the stored garbage bar continues to fill up faster than it decreases, even though at a much slower rate than before, and vehicles are getting parked again, even though there's plenty of trash to collect still. So I think we need to upgrade it a bit further. I believe just one of these more hazardous waste collection points would be enough. Okay, so this should be enough, but I'm gonna add another storage extension as well just for the time being, just to make sure. And now let's go, one more time. Ah, look at that. Green has never looked better. And no more annoying pop-ups on top of our citizens' heads. Let's take a look at healthcare. Okay, that's pretty good. We're on the green side already. And let's take a look at our medical clinics. Okay, so this one is no longer over capacity. Pretty cool. And this one is still over capacity, but it will dismiss its patients with due time. Perhaps we just have to wait a little while longer. But all in all, it seems that our trash issues are completely managed at this point, and our citizens are now super happy. Look at how happy they are, and no longer complaining about trash. That's what we want to see. Now, regarding our recycling center, it is now on maintenance mode, I believe, which means it's no longer sending out its full fleet of trucks because there's no more trash to pick up, so now it's only sending the necessary trucks to maintain the current health and cleanliness of the city as is. So we could potentially shut down some of these services to save a little bit of money, because this stored garbage bar is slowly decreasing, because we're processing trash at a higher speed than the speed that we're collecting. So let's take a look at our income. We're making about $500,000 per month, which is not bad, but could be great. So I think I'm gonna shut down the storage extension because we no longer need it. And I think I'm gonna keep all of these hazardous waste collection points because I want to get rid of this remaining trash as fast as possible. But as time goes by, I will disable these as well, and then I will enable them gradually as time goes by and the city evolves and grows further, and there's further need for these assets. And now I think it's time for us to flesh out this area. We do not want to leave our new recycling center alone now, do we? And as I've mentioned, I want to make this a more rural part of the region. So I think the challenge here is going to be the transition between this greedy and modern layout to a more natural looking and organic style of infrastructure with farms and also some forestry as well. And I think the defining point here, or at least the one that we should start on, is this national road that's currently connecting at the roundabout over here. So this is an old national road which is connecting to the outside region on that end of the map. And initially I made this split over here because I intended this road to connect with this one further on. But I think I changed my mind, and instead of the split happening here, it's gonna happen at around here. So I'm gonna split this highway at around this junction, then go around the mountain and connect over here to this highway. And that will give us more room at the central area of the city. And I also don't think I want to connect to this avenue because the connection here looks a little bit awkward, so perhaps I'm gonna try something else. I think I'm gonna make this roundabout a little bit more symmetric, so I'm gonna make an avenue here, similarly like what I've done here, and then go right around this direction, and then the road can connect to this avenue instead. So let's do that. Let me grab the road tool and let's see what's the distance between the end of the roundabout until here. So this is about 168 meters. Okay, so we need to make an intersection at around somewhere around here should be fine. And I can either curve it here or I can simply make a straight connection. Perhaps I'm gonna make a straight connection for the time being, and then I will make this area much prettier in the future. But for now I just want to get this avenue all the way here, and now I think I'm gonna make a roundabout here, I suppose. Okay, now I'm gonna continue this road, and this is gonna be our national road. So now I just have to reroute this entire road and connect it to this road instead. So I think I'll have to use Anarchy for that, because I'm gonna go off bounds. And I also think I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity to completely rebuild this road and try to go alongside the contour lines which represent elevation. I think that would make it more realistic and natural looking. So let me just delete all of this up until this point. That should be okay. And now let's try and rebuild this road. So we can go along here. Now let me grab this contour line over here. And now finally let's grab our curved road tool and make a smooth curve connecting here. Okay, let's take a look at it. Maybe I think on this area here I want to leave a bit more space between the river and also the highway, because I want to build some farms. Okay, so I think I can live up with that. That looks very natural looking and organic to me. I'm gonna continue defining the main roads of this infrastructure. So first and foremost, I think I will want to continue this avenue here. I think that's what makes sense. Just around here. Okay, and now we can connect the recycling center back to the main infrastructure. Okay, so I believe this will work for the time being, and now the challenge is going to be, of course, to make a natural looking transition between the grid layout and the rural area. And we have something in a way, which is of course these wind turbines, so we are gonna have to relocate them. And I think because this area is fairly windy on this location, see, look at that, max electricity production anywhere in this region, I think we can make a wind farm in this area. I'm not gonna make the entire farm on this video, but we can at least start it. And I think what I'm gonna do is drag a dirt road all the way over here. This is gonna be the area and the road where we are gonna place our farms. And at the very end of this road, probably at around this location, I'm gonna make my wind farm. So yeah, let's do that. I think I'm gonna get the contour lines, and I think I'm gonna start here. Okay, now I'm gonna move alongside and I'm gonna try to follow the elevation, not as closely as possible, but I'm gonna use them as a reference. Okay, I think I wanna adjust this a little bit. I don't really like the shape of this road. Okay, yeah, I think I can live with that. That seems like a very nice foundation for some farms along the shoreline of this river. And in fact, I think, unfortunately, I'll have to buy some tiles. I've been using Anarchy for this, which is of course not ideal. So let's just buy some tiles. That will cost us an extra 50,000 per month, which is quite a considerable amount, but it has to be done. And now we can simply relocate our wind turbines. I haven't purchased this tile, but that's fine, I suppose. I can always buy it later on. Now, I'm not sure how close together or far apart these should be, so I'm just placing them randomly, and when I decide to polish this wind farm, I can then build it properly, or the way it should be built. For the time being, I'm just gonna place them alongside this road. And I think I'm gonna make an additional road here, just so we can have more room for these turbines. Now, this is not really necessary, but I'm gonna place some electric cables here, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And with all of this set in place, I think it's finally time for us to start working on the road layout itself. So I'm gonna extend sapling residentials a bit more to the right side, and I'm gonna connect it with this road, where we will eventually start working on the first farms of the district. This area right in front of the river, on top of this hill, is actually perfect for some luxury housing with some riverside view. So I think I'm gonna make a small street dedicated for that, and I'm gonna grab my small alley and make something like this. Okay, and perhaps we can connect it with this existing layout. So let's see, over here we are leaving a 8 block gap, so we need to repeat it on this road as well. Now let's just connect with the road that we have just built. Okay, and now let's just make our housing. And for this, I think I'm gonna go with the European ones, because I just think they look better. And I think I wanna go with 4x5s, because those actually create some very nice swimming pools. So let's just resume the simulation and try to zone a bunch of these. Actually, let me try and zone this entire thing, see what happens. Now, as for the connection to the main layout itself, I think we can grab a road right at the center point of this roundabout. Bring it somewhere at around here. Okay, maybe extend a road perpendicular from that diagonal. Make some small points here, perhaps a small roundabout here and a bigger one in the national road. Okay, now let's make this one a bit bigger, and perhaps we can connect this access road to this roundabout that we have just created. And this road can continue through here and eventually connect to the existing street that we have. Perhaps we just need to make it a bigger road, you know, bigger high density. So let's upgrade it over here and upgrade it like this. Now I think we need to rebuild this connection just to make it smooth. Now we can finally connect our dirt industrial road to the layout, and I think I want to make it parallel to this existing road. So perhaps we can make some segments here. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. That's a good start. And with this, I now think it's a good time for us to start making our first farms. So perhaps I want to start here, a simple vegetable farm, and perhaps we can put it here. Let's try and go and follow the coastline of the river, and this is going to be a bit annoying because we do not have this little bit of tile, but I'm going to enable Anarchy for this. No, and do a little bit of cheating. Okay, here's our first farm, beautiful as ever. And of course, in these situations, I always have to adjust the terrain a little bit, just so it doesn't look terrible and out of place. And of course, I'm gonna outline it with trees. Yep, that works very, very well for me. And now, of course, I cannot forget to add a little bit of fertile land to this area. And I think I'm gonna add fertile land to this entire area. No, that's realistically, that's what it looked like anyway. So I think I'm gonna work on this area a little bit more. I'm gonna flesh out this agricultural area as well as wrapping up the layout for sapling residentials, and I will meet you guys shortly. Okay guys, so time for a quick progress update. I have finished up the layout as well as the construction of the first farms. As for the layout, I think it is a good transition. It fits what we already had on sapling residentials, and it also provides a good transition towards the agricultural area of the region. This is all low density, of course, and I've provided the location with a couple of parks, so we have this small park as well as this large playground. We have also placed these commercial shops over here because, you know, people need a place to go buy their groceries no matter where they live, and they should be able to do that on foot. On this junction, I have used one of these new cul-de-sacs, which are pretty much the same as a normal roundabout, so I don't really sure what the purpose of these are, if not for aesthetics. But regardless of that, I think this is a good option, and we might even put these on the other areas of the city that we've built, namely over here and also on West Sapling as well. As for our beach housing, they are all now decently zoned and built. They look amazing. And these are low-level houses, and I'm sure that level 5, at least these ones, the 4x5s, they have swimming pools on the back and they look much more luxurious than what we see here, even though these are already pretty cool. Now I've also left some empty areas. I didn't want to make these a bit too crowded, even though perhaps we can, perhaps put a soccer field over here, or, a medical clinic, something like that. Maybe a park maintenance depot. Those types of buildings could be suitable to place in this area. Moving on to the agricultural and rural area, this is where we have our first farms. This is actually a livestock farm, then we have a grain farm and a vegetable farm over here, which all have the same texture. Then we have some more custom farms, such as this one with the custom grass texture, and also this one over here with the greenhouse. And in some areas I've used the UK low residential because they provide, or they allow to build these very cool mansions, which could be suitable for a more isolated location. So I placed one here and also another one over here as well. I actually consider putting a signature building here, low density residential of course, but we are quite limited on those and I want to save them for the time being. And then here we have a custom tree plantation, which I think looks great. This is very similar to what we've done on this side of the city over here as well. But anyway, I think it's time for us to grab our district painting tool and start naming some stuff. Okay, and now we have Madison Dale, Hillside Springs, and also Brightwater Gardens, which are names that I'm gonna keep for the time being, unless you guys have specific suggestions for these. Now let me see what are the demands of each district. So Madison Dale has an unreliable healthcare coverage. I think that's a problem with all of these because we don't have any medical clinic assigned to it, but that's a matter of clicking on this medical clinic here and then assign some more districts. That should be enough to make these people happy. I also think I want to add another elementary school because this one is particularly full and is serving this entire area, so I think I'm gonna make a secondary elementary school to provide support for this area. And I'm gonna make a small one again, just like the one that we have already. And I think this is actually a good place for it, like this street over here. So let's, actually I think I want to make an access road. Okay, and I'm doing this because now I can use this alley to place my extensions. I actually have room for 3 extension wings here. Okay, and I wonder if I can place a gymnasium. This is a bit too far, but perhaps I can scoot the elementary school a bit to the left side, or to the right side, I suppose. Okay, yeah, I think that looks acceptable. Now let's just select some operating districts, and I want these to cover all of these areas, as well as Sapling Avenue. And this school, the existing one, can also cover these areas. Now this cul-de-sac now doesn't make a lot of sense, but perhaps I can use one of these new roads to make some parking spaces. So over here, for example, how does this look? I think I need to adjust the terrain a little bit to remove these edges. Okay, look at that. Cool. And now I think we can make a secondary connection to the elementary school via this access road. So this is probably gonna be a bit tight. Yeah, I think that should work. Okay, there we go. While we are working on this area, I kinda left this small segment of road to put a signature building here, and I've never really got around to completing that, so I think that's something we can do right now. And I think we have a couple of them. We have the rock musician house, and we also have the pop musician house. And either one of these are adequate. Perhaps I can put this one, it looks more like a mansion. And I think for this I will need a little bit of room, so I need to delete the road segment. Perhaps we can cut it at around here. Okay, that's pretty great. How does it look like if I wrap it at a cul-de-sac? Okay, yeah, that works for me. I think we just need to adjust the texture of the pathways a little bit. I think I want to give it more of a view towards the river. Let me scoot it a little bit back. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Okay, perfect, very imposing. And what I've done here, this luxurious waterfront housing district, I think I want to do the same on this area as well, because we have all of this area with a waterfront view, and we're not really capitalizing on this. Perhaps here it doesn't make a lot of sense because of the bridge, so it's not a very premium location, but here it could be. So I think I'm going to rework on this area, and for that, unfortunately, I will have to delete what I had previously built. But that's for a good cause. Okay, now let's grab our alley and start making a street. Okay, so I think that's a good foundation. Let's start zoning some of these European waterfront houses. And I want to go 5 long or 5 deep. Yeah, let's just make sure we're not that close to the hill. Okay, and now we can connect and complete the layout over here as well. Okay, remove this roundabout here. Yeah, that's cool. Let's resume the zoning of normal houses here. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, let's wrap the layout with some cul-de-sacs. Oh, and I destroyed the house, unfortunately. As we're working on this area, there's something that I want to do, which is go into our districts and extend Hillside Springs a bit to the side. And perhaps we can attribute the name to this entire bay area. And I'm actually gonna give it a custom name, and I'm gonna name it Luna Bay. This is named after one of my longest subscribers' daughter, so here you go, my friend. Here's your district. And as I'm working in this location, I'm wondering if I can turn it into a beach area. So let me just grab my surface painter tool, and perhaps we can make a sand surface here and see how it looks. Okay, this is terrible. Let's try the other texture. Yeah, I think that's the one we want. Okay, not bad. We have some sharp edges, but perhaps we can hide them with some trees and also some pathways. Let's continue. Okay, so let's see if we can improve this area with a pedestrian pathway. So I made this pathway going uphill, but I think I want to modify it a bit better. So let's put another key here, and I don't think I want this wall here. Yeah, there we go, look at it. And another key here perhaps. That's kind of a safety barrier. Now I think we can adjust the surface to match this thing. Okay, and now let's bring the pathway back up. Perhaps we can continue the pathway alongside the beach just to make a walking area for pedestrians and for leisurely walks. And perhaps we can end it right here behind those trees. So we have just polished the pathway network leading to this particular beach area. I think it looks super amazing, and it has the potential for a lot more. And yeah, I think what else can we do here? Perhaps we can adjust the terrain of this area a little bit just to make it just to make these keys make a lot more sense than what they're making right now. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool, and the beach area is now much more leveled. It allows for some people to extend their towels over here, even though the weather is not super friendly right now because it's raining. I've been working a little bit off camera, and I've mostly just been working on the vegetation of this area. So we have some bushes here as well as some trees. Now this entire area is much more vegetated, quote unquote. And I've also worked a bit on trimming and pruning the area a little bit. I think we had too many trees in the overall area, so I have removed quite a bit of them, and now we have these small gaps in between. Just a little breathing space where people can come here and make some picnics and whatnot. I've also removed some trees, particularly behind these buildings, so that there's a better view of the river if you're, you know, at home and you happen to live here. And I've done the same thing on this side as well, where I've just removed some trees as well. And I've also reworked this connection. I didn't like the way it was, so I've made this infrastructural solution. That way we don't lose any zoning space, and we also have a small loop here where cars can turn around, so it's a quick access point to these buildings here. I have also worked a little bit on the industrial district that we have started on the last video. I've mostly just added some districts to the area because it's something I had forgotten to do. So now this entire area is now properly named. And another thing that I've done is turn this road into a concrete road. As some of you guys pointed out, it would not make sense to invest money in making these safety walls and also keys on a simple dirt road. So if you would do a project like this in real life, you wouldn't do that on a dirt road. You would be better off turning the entire thing as a paved road as well, since you were going through the trouble of doing this project. But yeah, other than that, I think we are almost ready to wrap this video up. There's just one final thing that I want to do, which is decorate the beach area. Now, I'm not going to go overboard with this. I do want to add some towels and perhaps some parasols as well. So let me try and get a picnic cloth. Now I'm just gonna put some of these very sporadically. Perhaps I can go by 10 centimeters, just so we don't have the towel buried on the floor. Okay, so this is a good place for it, and I kind of have to annoyingly look for these areas. Okay, now we can put some parasols. And of course we also have some deck chairs as well. So these could potentially be good additions. Okay, so I've just added a couple more assets to this entire beach, and now it looks very complete and very lively. And I also like the fact that people actually are using this pedestrian pathway, even though of course there's nobody using it right now, just to contradict myself. But yes, they do use it. I've seen some people using it occasionally. And before we wrap this video up, let's just take a look at our recycling center, see how it's doing. And oh, look at this. We have no stored garbage and our processing speed is super low. So we are definitely overkill when it comes to trash management. So I believe we can go around and disable all of these assets because at the moment we have no further need for them. So I can just have the recycling center working with the basic module, and as the city evolves and becomes bigger and produces more trash, I will enable these facilities gradually. But yeah guys, I think that's enough for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.